Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel where I help you become a better artist. Today we are learning about using basic spheres and turning them into creatures. So one of the funnest things about doing spheres is that because creatures are so organic that you can fit these shapes in pretty much anything that you're going to be drawing. So what I'm going to ask you to do is draw along with me and use your shoulder in a circular motion. The reason I say shoulder is because you don't want to use only your wrist and you don't want to use your elbow. The reason is because you're going to end up drawing kidneys, football shapes, and pretty much melted ellipses almost. So you want to keep these as round as possible. So once you get that in there, and you're going to use your pinky as a guide going across your paper. All right, and this helps keep or stabilize your hand so that it doesn't shift in a direction that you don't want it to go in. Okay, the second thing I want you to do, and this is where it gets really fun. Pick a spot outside of the sphere, any spot you want, and do a secondary sphere. But don't do it as large. It's almost going to look like a moon and then a second moon next to it, you know, some kind of distant planet in a galaxy. It's going to look like a toy, you name it, it's probably going to look like that. All right, once we have this, we're going to do an even smaller one, and we're going to add it at any point that we want outside of the sphere. Now this one, originally I did say to put it in front of it or outside of it, but you can also put it in front of it. Just keep things loose. Notice how you can see the original one go through this. This is called ghosting. Okay? This is when you draw through the object, and it's if you're doing product design, if you're in industrial design, this comes in handy. So let's do a third circle. All right, notice how light I'm keeping this. Very, very light. When you use that circular motion with your shoulder, you can lock in the movement of doing a circle, and you get better at going over your previous markings so that it stays on that line and it just becomes a darker version than the original circle. It's pretty fun. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what the heck am I going to turn this into? It's just 3 blobs on there and I have no idea. Well, let's start connecting the shapes. Very lightly, let's start connecting these shapes into something pretty cool looking. Okay, so this could be, it looks like a molecule or some kind of virus almost. Probably thinking, man, this is pretty nuts. It's like, yes it is. Okay, the other thing that I want you to do, and if yours does look exactly like this one, that's okay. If your 3 spheres don't look like this, that's all right too. I'm going to start putting some smaller spheres on different parts of this shape that I'm drawing, because these will be the joints for my creature. Now, if you're familiar with taking complex shapes and breaking them up into simpler shapes, you'll notice that cubes, cones, cylinders, and spheres can fit inside virtually everything that we can draw. Cars, people, you name it. All right, so it's already looking pretty freaky and I haven't really done anything yet. All I've done is circles. All right, now that we have that, I'm going to start connecting these shapes again, kind of like I did at the very beginning with my larger pieces. So it looks like we got some mandibles going on here. Kind of freaky. All right, so what else we got? We got this crazy thing over here. I think I'm going to put some tentacles coming out of this. Let me move this up here so you can see it a little bit. There we go. Now, those of you that are familiar with my channel, you probably see me draw some pretty scary stuff. Demons, dinosaurs, you name it. I haven't really drawn anything that looks like ancient bacteria or some kind of alien DNA shape. I don't know, but this is the fun part. All right, notice how the lines got darker right around there. All right, that's really, really important because you want to be able to differentiate what's in front and what's in the back. So this tentacle is in the front. Now, I've been keeping everything really loose, and that's important. You don't want to dive straight into detail. So notice how sharp I'm keeping my pencil. All right, those of you that are drawing with mechanical pencils, this is the one instance where having a mechanical pencil is good because you don't have to sharpen them. But I do encourage you to use graphite, like an actual pencil such as this, because the spread of the graphite is greater, so you can have thicker lines at once. Especially when you're drawing something as loose like as this thing. All right, so I'm going to be using some more spheres here, just as an experiment. You'll start to see them cover the surface of this thing. All right, there we go. So see all these lines that I'm putting in, and they're more gestural than anything. You don't need anything fancy. I have my basic shape. I'm going to darken up the belly of this creature because I'm pretty happy with that shape. I don't want this to come down any more than it already is. Okay, so now I still don't know what it is, and that's probably one of the coolest, most freeing things about being a creature designer is I have no idea what I'm drawing. But if you follow these basic principles, then your chances of making something cool are going to greatly increase for you. Okay, so now I'm really liking these, I guess you can call them mandibles. I'm going to be doing a couple more, and maybe they're all going to be coming out of the head. So originally, I didn't really know what this I guess an appendage was. It was just like a bubble. But now that I see it, I'm going to be using the little circles to give me the joints, similar to if you're drawing a figure in figure drawing class, and the shoulders, the hip, the head, and everything are made up of spheres. Okay, so that's, you want to follow the same rules. All right, there we go. Okay, now do I want this shape over on the other side? Not necessarily. Okay, we're going to make this truly asymmetrical, truly organic. Maybe this thing evolved in a very, very strange atmosphere where it didn't need to grow legs to walk. It didn't need to grow wings. Maybe it's floating. Maybe it's not even in the ocean. I don't know. All right. So I want everybody to sit back and I want you to look at your creation so far. Look at all the loose gestural lines. Now, look at it and think about the potential. Where does it live? How does it crawl? Does it swim? Does it fly? Does it float? Does it live inside of an organism? Is it like a tapeworm? We're getting kind of gross there, I know. But just think about what it does. Okay. Now, when I look at this thing, I'm thinking straight up bacteria or something that lives in, dare I say, raw sewage. Like, I don't know. But it's gross. Maybe it lives in slime. Maybe it makes slime. Okay, so these things are, I'm going to put another circle on top of the smaller ones. And then I'm just going to draw another tentacle coming out. You want to add a little chaos to it. So make sure that the tentacles are not all going the same direction. Pretty soon, and if you're sticking with me so far, which I appreciate, pretty soon we're going to be adding some details to this, and you're going to be able to watch a little bit of time lapse. And you'll see how I can take something so rough, so weird looking, and we're going to make it beautiful in its own right. Okay, I'll be adding some shading, I'll be adding probably some scales and hairs. You know I'm going to add teeth. Somewhere in there I'm going to add teeth. Does it have to have teeth? No. But I think for this particular creature, it probably wouldn't feel complete without teeth. All right, so now that I'm looking at this, I guess, marble down here, I'm probably going to have to draw it on the other side. So let's do a little bit of arching with the pencil. Notice how I'm holding it. I'm using my pinky, and I'm guiding my pinky across the page, okay, and keeping things very light. See all these markings that I'm putting here just to move my hand? That's okay, just let that happen. All right, I'm going to put another marble down there, like this, and then maybe I'll put some other tentacles in. All right, right like that. But it's going to be loose. All right, so once you start getting the hang of this, you're going to start to see the power of using just basic shapes. I started with the giant sphere, and I'm ending up with something that looks more complicated than if I were to just sit and plan this for 5 hours and worry and scratch my head and pace back and forth going, I'm going to screw this up. It's not going to look good. All right, so just embrace the simplicity of these shapes. Okay, I think we're ready. Let's put some detail on it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little time-lapse section. Now, I just want to briefly go over what I did, and hopefully now that you have seen my process, you can not duplicate this, but try it out for yourself, see if you like it. There's a lot of power to be had when sketching this way. And one of the reasons is because it eliminates any kind of anxiety you have of making anything perfect. Now, I focused on the face because it's the closest to us, and that's where the personality is. Even though there are no eyes in this creature, you get a sense of who the creature is when you do the head first. And this is just with years of experience, both studying old masters when they do portraiture, when they add people in big environment paintings. Look at all of the character concept artwork out there. You'll notice that 90% of the details are always in the face. So all of this out here is left for interpretation. And this is what you want with gestural sketching. Okay, you don't want to go all out with details everywhere unless you're literally supposed to illustrate everything, whether it's for a client or for your own sake. Now, with me, and when it comes to conveying the idea quickly, I do the face first because you, the viewer, can look at the details in the face and go, oh, okay, well, if that's what the skin looks like on the head, that's probably what I'm going to expect throughout the entire creature. Okay, now the tentacles, you can kind of see the tentacles coming out of the head here. Like, again, everybody that's viewing this, I can leave this up for interpretation. Each person's going to look at it and think of a different kind of material, whether it's squid-like, whether it looks like seaweed or a tapeworm. I don't know. It's gross. But anyway, that's how I tackle these. You know, I could keep going with the details in here for the next 4 or 5 hours, but I'm not going to do that. So what I would like all of you to do is grab your sketchbooks if you have not done so already, draw along with me, and try this out for yourself. Do some spheres. You could do one sphere and turn that into a creature, okay? Or you can couple 6, 7, 8 spheres together and combine them with a bunch of appendages and tentacles and wings just to see what happens. But remember, don't be perfect, okay? Draw through your object, okay? Like this right here, all the detail in the face, I'm probably still going to be adding stuff on here, maybe some hair down here, make it truly gross looking, truly otherworldly. There's some scales up here. Again, this is the fun part. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and can't wait to see you next time. See ya.